Dan Rothenberg and Joe Klosik, two guys trying to figure it out. Not the right wing, not the brosphere. Left of center, with humor and empathy. Hello and welcome to The Splain. I guess we're just never going to get that right. I think that's our thing now.
Nailed it.
Okay. All right. That's
feeling
beautiful.
Good about that.
Natasha, what do you think? Out of 1 being the bad, 10 being the best. How was that intro?
Were we on sync?
I mean, you were almost in sync. I feel like you just needed maybe a little bit of harmony, and that would make the out of sync. Like maybe you could kind of create
Like
some
one of
sort
us
of like
should be up here.
The Splain.
yeah.
Okay, let's try that next time.
You want to try to do you want to go low or
try
high?
a little barbershop quartet.
A little
Hello,
barbershop.
everybody, and
Hello, welcome to the Splain.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh my god, I think that was worse, honestly, but it's delightful.
Like
What
and
you lack in
subscribe
talent,
if you like whatever it is we do. Can I just quickly jump in?
Yes,
Joe,
please.
your hair is looking good. What is going on?
I'm gonna be really honest with you. I woke up, I looked in the mirror, and I said, you know what? I like it. I'm just going through the day like this. Yeah.
You look like a person beginning to be married. You do. Like the shit's coming together. Like you look like there are decisions about you that are being made that are not yours anymore, but for the better.
For the better. You know what? And I'm okay with that. I'm embracing all that. I have so little control. There's so many people involved in so many parts of my body.
are your nuptials approaching soon?
They are going to actually be a year from yesterday.
A year from so just 364 days.
Yeah. So
Really?
July 11th, 2027. Dan is going to
Nice.
officiate, and it's wow. Is it a lot of details?
Did you choose that date just so you could say 7/11/27?
We didn't initially, but we are gonna rent a Slurpee machine.
Nice. You're not feeling the commitment to buy one outright. You just need to.
I think that's a lot of shaved ice and sugar. I mean, maybe we're trying to have a kid. Who wouldn't want to grow up with a Slurpee machine in the kitchen? You know.
I would love a Slurpee at your wedding.
We're thinking of upscaling it, maybe like a hibiscus tea Slurpee. Big Gulp's a little too white trash, Dan.
You could theme your wedding
My roots.
Your roots, yeah.
Yeah, we might throw some Slim Jims.
You don't want to theme your wedding Slurpee seconds? You don't think that would be?
No, I think it might be confusing to the older members of her family, having to explain the entendre and the sexual nature
that
of it.
Is
yeah. Hey, try the blue Slurpee.
Great wordplay.
That is Natasha, and in fact, that is a great way to begin. So today we have Natasha Muse. For my money, probably the best wordplay comedian. Do you think that's an honest assessment? I mean, I think your writing has a lot of, you are presenting a lot of well-written material, and it's fun to see. Sometimes you're faster than the audience, and you have to stop, and then you've got more double entendre built in.
Thanks.
Yeah, which is a lot of fun. But do you have? I mean, sometimes I see your stuff on Facebook, and I'm like, it's so funny in the written format. Mm-hmm. Do you ever feel like there's something that you're just like, man, I don't think this will work on stage, or it does, and then you're blown away?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. There's definitely things that I write down as like funny jokes that I feel like, yeah, this works as written. and there's no way I could say it. And then I'll just try it, and like it's like, oh, okay, this actually works. Like
Yeah.
my joke about Justin Timberlake, people like love that. And that was just a dumb tweet back when we were calling them tweets. I feel like I never know. Like I have all of these ideas and I write them down. Like I have a bunch of ideas, it's like a funnel, right? You have like a million ideas. You write down like four of them, right? And then half of them get posted to wherever. And then like half of those you might actually try on stage.
Do
And it's
you
like,
do you use Facebook? Are you still on X? Just really quickly, are you still on
I'm
X?
not,
Okay.
not, I mean, I
All right.
still have an account on there,
Yeah.
but I don't really.
Do you use Facebook as sort of like a focus group almost? Like if you get a lot of good responses on something, then will you bring it on stage?
I used to. That used to be like a good way to see if like people like got the idea or connected with it in any way. But I like in the past like 5, 6 years, Facebook has not really been good for that at all. Like I
Mm.
used to be like, okay, if I like get say 30 likes in the next day or whatever, like okay, it's like connecting with enough people, just like as a barometer, but it doesn't really work like that for me anymore.
Hmm.
I
What do you
think,
think's changed? You think it's Facebook? You think it's people?
well, I think like a lot of younger people left Facebook, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the algorithm's all weird. Like if you go on there, you see mostly videos and ads more than text. I think that they don't even like to share text that much. Like the algorithm kind of
Hmm.
pushes those down a little bit. Like you need a picture or a video.
How
Um,
Where do
long
you
have you been doing comedy?
oh, like I think since the late 2000s, like the late aughts, so I guess 2008, 2009. But then there was like a big break for the pandemic, so
Uh huh.
but like 17 years, I guess.
Wow.
Or
I when
hmm.
I was in, if I could just interject real quick, when I was in San Francisco, uh, Josie's Cabaret and Juice Joint was still
Hmm.
there, and it was sort of like there was queer comedy and there was comedy, and they intermingled, and some queer comics only went up in queer rooms, and a few of us went up in both, and there was a little bit of uh, are you a gay or queer comedian, or are you just one that happens to be? Are you a funny person that happens to be? And there's always tension around that. What's
Yeah.
that been like for you?
I enjoy doing all kinds of rooms. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
difference of, it's just like appreciating the audience, right? Like the queer only shows has like a very friendly um, audience. They're very receptive. And that
Mm-hmm.
can throw you off a little bit because you think, oh, this stuff kills. And it's like, no, it just kind of kills for people who are already more on the same level as far as like how you perceive the world or understand things. And you have to like
Mm-hmm.
recalibrate those for more of a mixed audience.
Hmm.
But I
Mm-hmm.
don't think there's enough queer rooms to only do that. So I wouldn't just do queer, but although I think the audiences are just, I mean, they're almost too easy in a way, right? Where you
Mm-hmm.
can kind of get away with like cheaper jokes. Not
Right.
cheaper jokes, but just like, um, yeah, I don't know. It just, you can just feel the difference where they're just more willing to like go with you where you're
Hmm.
going, where you're headed. And
Mm-hmm.
I think with mixed audiences, you just have to sort of go, okay, they might not really be having this stuff on their mind as much or be thinking about these things in these terms. So you have to, there's more of it, like more setup maybe, but
Yeah,
then
you
you
have
need
to
to,
sell it. Like,
yeah. Yeah, the more of a
uh,
setup you have, like the bigger punchline you need to like justify all of that setup. So like that kind of
right.
calibration gets all
Okay, so I'm
wonky.
gonna like you have to earn the disclosure. Like I'm gonna open up to you, but I'm gonna be funny.
Yeah, yeah. I think. I don't know. I think I might be getting lost
No, no, no. Do you?
in
Well,
what you're saying.
Natasha, what's interesting? I mean, what I think is really interesting about you as a performer, um, I don't think you hide the fact that you're trans, but I also don't
Mm-mm.
think. And tell me if I'm wrong about this. You're not making that. the focal point of your stand-up. You just happen to be trans as a
Mm-hmm.
comedian, and you do talk about it, but you
Yeah.
don't. I feel like you're not talking about it in a way where it's political. You're just like, yeah, I'm trans. That's a part of it. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. And then you're still doing
Yeah.
material. Is that a proper assessment?
I think so. I definitely like am okay to talking about it, but I definitely don't want that to be like the defining thing about me. And yet it is like, as you're looking to make a name for yourself and get stage time, it's obviously something I'm like gonna lean on, right?
Mhm.
It's like makes you distinct or gives you that unique perspective. So I'm like happy to it's like you want to use it for your own benefit, but you also don't want to feel trapped by it, right?
Mhm.
Like it's like
Yeah.
easy to get pigeonholed into this kind of thing. And then and then people don't want to book you for straight shows or for other things. Like, there used to be like those, do you remember like when those nerd shows were a big deal?
Mm-hmm.
And I never really got booked from them. And I was like, but I'm like really kind of a dork. Like I'm kind of a nerd. And I wish I could like have those shows too.
Did they
Um,
ever
Mm.
tell you? And did they ever give you any reason, or like, yeah, we're just gonna pass on you, or yeah, we just don't want.
no, I mean, I didn't ask either. So
Yeah.
that didn't probably didn't help. I thought I was like outwardly dorky enough, but I think among comedians, I didn't stand out as being especially nerdy.
Wow.
Um, I don't know. I don't know if I give off the nerd vibe. I'm trying to amp it up a little bit and talk about books more so people know that there's
Well,
more
yeah.
to me than
If you're
just being
talking
quiz.
about books, you already lost most of the audience. So,
Yeah, yeah. It's been fun though trying to talk about books in front of the audience. They're
what
not into it.
what book are you trying to talk about the most, or is there any group of books that you want to talk about?
The Bible. I just really wanna.
Mm.
No.
Wow. Yeah, that's gonna win over a
Um,
lot of audience.
It's gonna win over some of them.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I actually have been getting more religious, but I haven't really been talking about that on stage. What I do is I talk about the act of reading, and then I try to like riff with the audience and do some crowd work to see what they're reading and try
Mm.
to explore it in that way. So at least I know there's like one other person in the room who's read a book, and,
Mhm.
and that gives you like some permission to like move forward with it.
Yeah.
But it's weird too. I don't know if you've got this. I think people are like, some people are really eager to be in a crowd work clip, but some people, I think I've seen a lot of them, and they're worried that like they're gonna look foolish or be, made fun of. And so
Yeah.
they don't want to participate or talk about something, especially something if they're like really into a book, like they might not even want to like discuss it and have it
Yeah.
Oh,
be
so
ruined.
the crowd's aware they might be being filmed.
I think
Yeah.
so, because I feel like a lot of what you see online are clips of people doing crowd work. And usually the crowd work is like, what's your job? Oh, that sounds like a dumb job. What's your name? Oh, that's a stupid name. That kind of a
It's
thing.
about that
Brilliant.
intelligent. Yeah. Yeah. It's about that brilliant. Yeah. And what are you reading? Well, that's a dumb book. Have you tried that? That's that's
Right.
that might get a good viral crowd clip. You are right, though. I think the audience that's showing up these days, especially a younger audience, they are aware that they might end up in a clip, and I think it doesn't make for a great vibe in the room because if the audience is self conscious about how they're laughing, what they're laughing at, how they're answering a
Yeah.
question, it just
Hmm.
changes the vibe a little bit, which is too bad because I always feel like we're trying to really be in the moment, even though you've got material, even though you're doing it, you want the crowd to feel like, hey, this is happening in the moment. And I do feel like there is an extra layer now where the audience is like, hey, should I laugh at that? And they're looking around more and they're like, well,
Hmm.
I'm not going to answer that question. And yeah, it is weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you
Um,
ever run into any, and I'm asking this question and I, I know that you have, but have you ever run into an audience that is not accepting of you being trans?
um, Yeah, I think so. It's I think but I think that but then the trans jokes almost hit harder because then they can kind of laugh at me. I don't know if that's
wait,
exactly.
you feel like they're laughing at you instead of with you?
I don't know. I maybe I misspoke with
It
that, but I do
becomes like
feel,
a nervous laughter, weird.
yeah, or I feel like you can kind of
Hmm.
feel like, oh, I'm glad that she's talking about it and like can open up a little bit. Like they're, yeah. Can you hear my dog?
Oh, is that your dog? I didn't know if
Yes.
it was yours
Yeah.
or Dan's.
No, that's my dog. She's nuts. Um, but I've been pretty lucky and I haven't really had to deal with that too much. And even if like there's some people in the audience with their arms crossed or whatever, like generally speaking, people are okay with it.
Do you
Um,
do the
I
road?
I don't. I don't do the road. I'm pretty lazy. I have not been good
Now
at getting out.
let's not go there now.
Um,
Um, yeah, have you ever heard that?
I
I heard this a couple of times after gigs. Don't leave here alone. You ever get that one?
oh no, no. I
But those
fortunately am
were
pretty,
rough gigs.
Yeah.
yeah. I've heard about gigs like that, and for the long time, I just was like lucky enough to stay busy all around San Francisco Bay Area with like,
Hmm.
like short drives around, the state, and then once in a while doing like Portland or LA. So I haven't really had those like hell gigs where people are really, aggressively against, who
Hmm.
I am or whatever.
Good.
Um,
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
good.
yeah,
nobody needs that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
you hear like some people say, well, you got to do all these kinds of rooms and you got to go places where they hate you and stuff like that to make you stronger. And I get the logic behind like testing your material against all kinds of, people, but I just didn't really have it in me to put myself into those situations.
I don't think that's necessarily bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no,
But
I would say Rooster Teeth feathers is as bad as you got to get to know that to know that a joke works. No offense, Heather. I love Rooster Teeth feathers. But
Roosters has been very good to me, I will
they're
say.
good.
I'm
Great
actually
club.
there next month for a weekend. And
Oh, nice.
yeah, I mean, look, I'm happy to still be getting gigs. I'm happy to still be relevant in the Bay Area scene. Um, but
It's
yeah, look,
hard.
I mean, it is hard. It is. I mean, especially I feel like there's been an explosion of young comedians and they're good. They're good on stage. What they're really talented in though is the social media aspect and the business has changed, right? And if I'm a booker and I'm looking at, well, I know this comedian will give a
Mm.
solid performance, but this comedian has a million followers. So if 1% of 1% of those followers show up, I'm making money that night. So that
Yeah.
that's a real calculation that I know business owners are doing in their heads, and yeah,
Yeah.
and it's frustrating. I see you. I bump into you on TikTok on the TikTok, and it looks like you're experimenting, right? Seeing like, well, I'm
Yeah.
throwing shit at the wall.
Hmm.
Let's
Yeah.
see. Let's see what sticks. Is there? Have you found any secrets to the algorithm that works for you? I love that you just laugh at that. Like,
No.
no, no, yeah.
My biggest problem is like trying to like, I have an idea for something and unless I can like record right away, I have a hard time figuring out how to like save that
Mm.
thought. You can write down like some of the things you want to say, but it's like hard to remember like what I was enthusiastic to get across or like the real like energy behind it. So I'll write it down, I'll look at it later and it's just like I don't really even get like what's funny or interesting about this. And that's like step one. And then if I do record stuff, I spend like way too long trying to make it look like so I don't look as old or as trans or as ugly as I like see myself. and then trying to record it and then like get that down and then like rambling, like 10 minutes isn't long enough. And I'm thinking like I'm just giving myself this big editing project, and like I try to, then you got to look at your face. I mean, not you. I have to look at my face for a long time. And I'm like trying to like think about what's funny or like what works, what parts do you need to like make this, a
I
good
love
clip.
that you're one of us, Natasha, just stifled by our own fear.
Yeah.
And it's what you just said is all about stuff, underlying emotional fear and
Yeah.
issues. And so you're in the right place. You should join us and be a regular on this show. Now, the problem is no
Sure.
one's going to see it because
Right.
we have the same problems because we don't.
We have followers, and Dan, I don't know if you read some of the comments. We picked up some interesting comments on the Louis C.K.
I
Oh, good.
noticed. I noticed that. Yeah, we got like 3 positive ones and one. Yeah, the anti dude who was like, he didn't do anything wrong. He was being cool. He was
Yeah.
offering these women an opportunity, and
It's such a weird take.
I
It's such
know.
like a weird, misogynistic, like like
Yeah.
he went to adult women and offered them a
Yes, they
kink.
were adults.
Yeah, he walked in jacking
In
off,
other
like,
words,
ladies, would you like to partake? Like, it's such a
right.
weird.
But they had a choice whether to partake. It's
They
adults.
had a
What's the problem?
choice. Yeah, yeah. He's just standing in the doorway.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
If you right, if you were asked for a severance package from your boss, and they hand you an envelope with their penis in it,
Yeah.
that's
Which is
fine.
common. That's fine.
It's
That's
fine. It's fine.
that's
That's what the
1950s
severance package
America.
is.
That's when
We're
we
all
were
adults.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all adults here.
Yeah.
There's no power dynamic.
Talk about getting
Natasha,
the shaft.
see,
You are good.
that's the
Wow.
Natasha I'm talking about. Let me ask you this though, because this has
Oh,
been
well,
fun.
okay.
This has been interesting to watch, right? Because we've been on a couple of shows together. Well, more than just a couple, but
Yeah, no,
one of
two or
the
three.
one of the things that you'll do is I feel like you challenge the younger audience and their political sensibilities, because you will talk about trans people with a
Hmm.
word that was pretty common, right? You know the bit I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
But it's become a slur, and you're kind of calling them out about them being uncomfortable around it. But it's
Hmm.
fun to see you play with that dynamic, because you're just telling your story about when I showed up in San Francisco. This is what we were calling it, and you can
Yeah.
see the younger audience get like, oh my god, did you're like, did you make a conscious choice that was going to happen, or the first time you just told that story, did you recognize like, oh, the crowd is not going with me?
Oh, I told this. I have always liked saying that word, and I was sad when. Do you not want me to say it?
No, you can say it.
Say it.
Okay. Like when I first moved here, there was like a place called Tranny Shack. Like there was like a club, and then like there was like the Tranny Film Festival. Like it was like all around. And then one time I said it online, and then some rando was like mad at me for like using that word. Um, and then I just started saying it kind of, like it's like a fun word to say, and it kind of works as like a punchline word. And
Tranny or
then
transsexual?
tranny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's like a good. Um, I think it's a nice solid word. It's not like as hard as like
But
We
I
used
can
to
nice
see.
say that.
hard CK.
I remember
Yeah,
that
Huh?
word. I didn't
yeah.
know
Yeah,
I was making a mistake. Back in the early 2000s,
yeah,
it was a fun word.
yeah.
And I've seen it
And
used in
then
a very damaging, aggressive way, but go ahead.
yeah, yeah. People like to ruin fun things.
Yeah,
Um,
certain senators and of
yeah,
certain states. It's all how you say it. They do
yeah.
ruin that word.
Um, yeah, and I just started talking about it because I did feel like that was the word that we used, and it was kind of like our word.
Hmm.
And then not like the R word, but it was our our word. And Uh, so then I just started like just started talking about the ways that that word has intersected with my life. Like, do you guys remember the Click and Clack brothers, the car talk guys?
Oh, I do.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, he
Mm-mm.
was like, and they were from Boston, so they had that Boston accent that kind of reminded me of my family. And then they would always talk about, you go to the junkyard to pick up an old tranny, and
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that was funny. Um, So yeah, then I just started playing with it. And then as you were saying, you can tell audiences get kind of uncomfortable, which is kind of fun to play with, right? Especially when you
Mm-hmm.
know that you have something at the end that's going to kind of relieve that that's like how comedy
Yeah.
works, right? But um so yeah, I definitely built that story around wanting to share it, but also knowing how like charged that word is. And
Mm.
that word is actually it's actually takes it makes like mixed audiences or straight audiences a little bit more uncomfortable because they don't hear it as much. But with like queer audiences, like we use it amongst ourselves and we hear it more, so it doesn't hit as hard because it's not like as verboten or whatever you want to say.
Mm. Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah, I enjoy saying. I feel like I say it too much, almost, but
What got you started in stand up? What was there someone you saw, or was there some inspiration? Like what got you started? And amazing that you were in San Francisco. Because I can't think of a better place to start stand up.
do you remember a place called Asia SF in San
Yeah,
Francisco?
I do. Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
I used to work there. I don't know if people don't know, it was basic. We were billed as gender illusionists, which was like basically a bunch of trans people were waitresses, and then every hour or so we get on stage and do lip syncs, right? And before the shows, we would introduce on the God mic, and at the end, somebody would like sort of introduce all of the girls individually and go around and do like bachelorette parties, birthdays, celebrations, things like that. Um, and the thing about that is, even though we were all on stage performing, nobody liked doing the God mic stuff.
Mm.
And there was like a few girls who would do it, but most of us just didn't want to do it. Like we were self-conscious about our voices and blah blah blah. But I was one of the only girls who like spoke English as a first language. So when the main people who did it weren't there, I was the one who had like the least reason to object to do it. So I like ended up loving it, right? I started like finding like, oh, this is really fun. I can like get the audience all, geared up and ginned up for the show. I can throw jokes in there. At the end of the night, like I went from being like a 5 minute thing to like a 15-minute thing where I was like, I came up with funny little jokes for every girl. I would like walk to each girl and like make up a dumb story about them, which some of them did not like because they weren't always super flattering.
Oh, that's
And they were
hilarious.
really punny. Like, you know, um, this girl, went abroad for a few months and she's going to stay that way. That kind of like stupid wordplay. I was there for a long time and I enjoyed being on stage and telling jokes. And then
Yeah.
I was like, well, this is fun and I kind of want to do it, but not just in this context.
Right.
And I used to live near where Curtis had his comedy college
Comedy
thing.
college. Yeah.
I would like walk by the sandwich board every day. And then my wife was like, probably the only couple in history where the wife encouraged the partner to do stand up. Uh,
That is unique. Yes.
she was like, you should try the classes. And I was like, and I approach things like that where it's like, oh, there's classes to take. Like, this is like the segue to do it. You take classes. So that's how I started. I just
Hmm.
wasn't even a performer. I only auditioned to AJSF because somebody asked me, and it was only because they needed more. There was no white girls. They needed more diversity. It was all Filipinos, and they were looking for.
The irony of all of this.
Yeah,
They needed more
yeah,
diversity by adding a
yeah,
white girl. Okay.
yeah.
That's
There was like 12 Filipino girls, and then like a black girl, a Latina, and me for a while.
wow.
Um, Yeah, so I really had like a nice long like ramp up to being on stage and lip syncing for a while and just getting comfortable with all of that.
Wow. That's pretty
And
Did
cool.
you know you kind of
yeah,
had a talent for that before SF Asia, or you just kind of found it there?
not, I really just found it there. I used to like, I love comedy and I like telling jokes and stuff, but it never occurred to me to like be on stage.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and actually when I auditioned for that place, I assumed that they would not want me. And then I could just be like, well, I tried that and that wasn't, I was like in my early mid 20s or whatever. And I just assumed it would be something I tried and it would go on in the list of things I wasn't good at, and that would be it. Uh,
Do
I
you
was really bad
remember?
too
Were you really?
as a lip syncer. Yeah, just being on stage, like all my body posture was all hunched, like I wanted people to not look at me, kind of thing.
But they had to
I
keep
had like
you
zero.
because of DEI.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Do you remember the first joke, like the first time you were on stage? And I feel like all of us have this moment where you're doing it, you're on stage as a comic, and you're getting some laughs. But there's that one joke that you tell early on, and you're like, oh, this is who I am. This is what I gotta do. I really like this, and you get that first big laugh. Do you remember that joke?
Mm. Um, it might be. I mean, I might just be making it up, like sort of backfilling it, but it was it's such a cheap joke, and it's about being trans, of course, because like at the beginning a lot of my jokes are about, like, because I was coming out of the place where the whole point of me being on stage was the fact that I was trans. So it was like I would say I'm trans, and then that means I used to be a guy and then I got better. And it's such it's
It
such a cheap joke.
works. It works. It's
But it
good.
works. I
Yeah.
brought it back recently because I realized that I was holding myself to too high of a standard with my material, and I
What do
was
you
like,
mean by
"Oh,
that?
no,
What do you mean? Talk more
I
about that.
I felt like if something had the hint of hackiness, I wanted to like get away from it. And
Mm.
then I realized I was like, people aren't coming here for like, you know, high art or to always
It's
be
a
challenged 100.
balance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not like I want. I feel like like I heard somebody say you always play to like the smartest chunk of the audience or something like that, or some idea of like always like trying to like hit the highest level of intelligence in the audience. And I think I took that too literally,
Mm.
where I was trying
Yeah.
too hard to, avoid anything that felt like low-hanging fruit. And the low-hanging fruit tastes good too. So I don't know why I was.
Yeah, as
Put
long
that
as
I
on
think
it's
a
I was.
your own unique low-hanging fruit, it's your experience.
Yeah.
Joe, I
Um. It,
remember, not to interrupt, I remember back in the 90s, early 2000s, that's all we had was our aesthetic standards because there was no comedy industry. So we were just a bunch of people performing for free, trying to impress each other
Yeah.
and Tom. And
Yeah.
I remember you and I, Joe, it's like we took it too far. We had this idea of it's hacky to even talk about dating.
Yeah.
Don't even talk about it. Don't talk about relationships. Don't talk about dating. Everybody's doing that. And then I started noticing whatever, the Louis C.K.'s and the this and these brilliant comedians that were getting traction then. I'm like, no, they're all talking about that. They're just doing it in their own way.
Yeah.
And you could,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, we took that
we're very
too
much
far.
shaped by the time that we came up in, I think. And it's fascinating when I look back at that and think of the history of stand up in the city. I mean, without Josie's Juice Joint, which was like a major queer focal point for stand up, there's a lot of stand up that never would have happened. And I think there was a lot of queer comics that were allowed to develop there and then cross over, and show up in the straight rooms. Now, I don't think that exists. I think you can show up as a queer comic without really having developed a voice and figure it out because all of the rooms are like, just go for it. Just be funny.
Right, just be
you know?
funny.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah, which is a good thing to be. I mean, that is kind of the equality, that you're hoping to get. But I mean, I know that people still run into issues. Um, Natasha, have you run into any other trans comics that don't like what you're doing or feel like you're not a positive voice for the community?
Um, I don't think so. Not if they felt that way, I feel like they've hit it for me pretty well. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I haven't heard that. But
Good,
maybe, I mean, yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I
because
feel like
I
I get along with most of the other trans comics I've met.
is there
Well,
a
we just want to
comedian?
plant that seed of doubt in you.
Yeah, yeah.
If we
I
can
appreciate
just,
that.
Well, I have plenty
yeah.
of
Hmm.
straight white guys that think I'm
Yeah.
terrible.
No,
So
next time I'm editing one of my TikToks, I'll add that to
Hmm.
the list of
yeah,
things
Just
I need
kind
to
of,
like be
just
self-conscious about.
yeah, just remember Joe's voice in your head. Maybe you're pissing people off you don't know about.
yeah. I mean, maybe they're hiding it, but they inside they're just burning with resentment and
Uh
anger.
huh.
Yeah. Well, maybe I mean resentment, sure, because I'm so good, but I yeah, it's weird. I feel like we kind of get booked on different shows. Like we're not usually included in the same shows unless they're queer shows.
Right.
Because you don't want to have like, we're like the Highlander in most
Yeah.
regular shows.
You're worried someone's
I
going to
feel,
cut your head off.
I am worried someone's going to cut my head off. Yeah. Put it in an envelope and
There
give it.
can be only one.
Speaking of getting booked, what's your month look like? Is it Cobb's Punchline around town? What?
It is, I do feature work at the Punchline, so I get to do that, I think once a year, and then the Cobb's once a year. And then Ron throws me like, all-star shows and things like that where I get to do stuff. And like, where they have buyouts for that bank card. Do you know what I'm talking about,
Oh,
Joe?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
built. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Bill.
Yeah.
And then it's just like a lot of, the one-off shows and theater shows and things like that around the city.
Yeah.
Um, I
You're
need to
you're
get, I need to get better at asking to be in shows. I didn't really have to do that too much. I kept pretty busy just getting asked to be in shows,
yeah.
and that has not been true in this past year. So I need to get more proactive with that. So
It's
And
like
make Go
at
ahead.
the end of June, I featured and I had like those 5 shows, and then I also like booked other shows like in between and around. So I
hmm,
like did 9 sets in like 4 days, and then I had nothing for like 2 weeks.
hmm.
So it's just been that kind of up
It's
and down.
feast and famine. Is there
Yeah.
a comedian that you've worked with that you feel like you learned a lot from?
Um, I, you know, I worked with Maria Bamford once, and she said that every set, she likes to think about one thing she can do to make things different or to like work on and
Hmm.
improve. And
Hmm.
that was like a long time ago, and I don't think I always do that, but I do try to approach each set with that mindset of like, well, what can I gain? What can I learn? Like, what thing can I do differently, or what attitude can I like approach this with to hopefully get better a little bit?
Yeah.
Um, I've worked with like comedians where I felt like I've learned what not to do. So that's,
Tell us
Well,
about that.
yeah, please. And if you want to use names, please.
Yes, drop them.
um, you know, I, I don't, do you guys, I worked with Louis Anderson once. Do you guys remember him?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
He was weird because he was like, in one hand, really supportive, but he also totally threw me off my game right before our first set together. I was still hosting once, and at that time, and before, like literally, not like an hour before, not the day before, but like literally right before the show was to begin, he asked me to go through my set with him and tell him all the jokes. And then he like was like, "You can't end with that. It's too sad." And I was like, because my joke was about how I got hit in the park with a skateboard, and
Hmm.
but like it wasn't, the guy didn't know I was trans, so I was like, at least it wasn't a hate crime. I forget, I
Hmm.
forget, I forget how the punchline was. But he
That's
was like,
not
"Oh no, that's too."
that's not sad.
Yeah, I
What the
think I
fuck
didn't
does
think it
that
was
mean?
sad, and I think when
Yeah, what the
I
fuck
said it,
does
it was
that
like
mean?
better when I was doing it as a joke. It was like I delivered it better and everything, but I was so like thrown off that he was even asking me to do this,
I've
and I was like
never
trying to
I've
race
never
through
had
my
a
jokes.
headliner ask me to do my
Yeah,
set as an opener. Yeah,
yeah.
and then
He didn't
tell
want
me
me.
not.
Yeah, and then he didn't want me to do food jokes because that was his thing.
Fine, I get that.
And
Yeah.
then so he rattled me so much that I went up as a host, and then I completely forgot the name of the feature.
Ooh.
Mm.
So I'm on stage trying to like do a set which isn't going super well because I just edited it,
Mm.
like tried to like go with what he asked me to do. And then all of that mental work just pushed, I think the guy's name was Brad or something. I don't know. It was really weird.
Mm.
And I brought him up and then I just guessed. I just made up a name.
I just guessed. That's great.
Where was
Please
it?
And then he
welcome.
came up, huh?
What club was this at?
Oh, this is at Cobb's.
Oh,
And
okay.
he was, it's weird too, because the feature was like a big fan of Louis Anderson, and
Mm.
he just didn't seem interested in talking to him that much at all. And he was more interested in talking to me, but I didn't like Louis because of the way he treated me. So we had some kind of weird triangle happening.
Wow.
Um, I just was really put off by the way he like kind of ran the green room and the way
Yeah.
he treated. And then also the Cobb's has the stairs going up and down in the green room, so he didn't like to go up and down. So he sat in the hallway, and I remember he would just be licking on ice cream cones, and then whenever the bus boys would go by, he'd be like, "You want a wick?"
Ugh,
It was
ugh,
so weird.
Jesus
It
Christ.
was it was so strange.
Oh, that
I
is
can totally picture
now
him doing
he's
that.
calling your bit sad. Now that is sad.
Sitting in the
The bit you
that
call your
hallway
life.
is so
Yeah.
small, and oh my god, that's hilarious. You want a
Um,
lick? Oh my god.
you can hear his voice, right? You can
Yeah, I
imagine
can
him doing
totally
it.
picture his voice. Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I feel like I was like, oh, this is like a weird, because he was so famous for being a family-friendly comedian, and I feel like he just was kind of mean to us.
Yeah.
But he was also
Hmm.
I felt like he was also trying to be supportive of me and like tried to like give me advice, but I felt like not repulsed, but really like I didn't like the way he dealt with me at first. Like it was like I was,
Yeah.
obviously I was super excited to meet him, um, because I grew up watching him and whatnot, but I was like, I don't know. I
Well,
don't
he
like the
had
way this
a.
is all shaking.
Hmm.
I think some
Oh, and he
weird
wouldn't
shit can
even talk to
happen.
the feature. Oh, sorry.
What? Really?
No, yeah, like weird
Yeah,
shit can
he,
happen with guys that are people that are up here and are on their way down with the power dynamics and it's like who said uh, Joan Rivers. She was sort of up, huge and then down and then kind of back up. She made a comment about how the thing you really notice is the difference in the quality of the cheese in the green room. And I get that always resonated with me. The little
It's a good way to
things
look
that
at
are
it. Yeah.
now arriving in a limo. Now you're arriving in the 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 Jeep, the son of the club owner. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
yeah,
And I know, for not to get all gossipy, but I know he had a run. I mean, he had a regular run at the Rio in Vegas. He was making a lot of money, and then it just kind of not. And
hmm.
it's just my guess is that Cobb's was not on his to-do list at one
It's
point.
possible.
or another. I don't know.
I mean, you do see a lot of that, and it is interesting. I feel like I've worked with some headliners that were on their way up, and then the same headliners on their way down,
Mm-hmm.
and they're meaner on the way down. You know,
Yeah.
and it's because they're taking it out on you, and I think the Cobbs, especially the Cobbs green room, for whatever reason, there has to have been so many just awkward, weird exchanges that have happened in that green room. I mean, I can think of just a few in my time of just comics like Jim Brewer from Saturday Night Live.
Go boy.
So he's a radio guy and based out of Chicago, and he's very MAGA. He's very right wing. I did not know this, and this was a while ago. This was like, he's
makes sense.
He had a special guest hanging out with him in the green room. It was the guitar player from Metallica, Hetfield, right? And surprise, surprise, I don't know if other people realize this, Hetfield is pretty conservative. So they're having this conversation, and at one point, Jim Brewer says teachers are paid too much, and and I'm like just blown away that this is a conversation between Metallica, the guitar player, and Goat Boy from Saturday Night Live, right? And I have this whole bit about teachers should be paid more, right? That I really leaned into that night.
Nice.
And did it as my closing bit instead of just buried in the middle, so he would hear it, right? And I come off stage and I'm coming down the stairs, and there he is waiting to go on, and he doesn't even look at me, and he just goes, "Joe," and that, and he was clearly not pleased, with me for that. But it was one of those cases where it's like, don't. Meeting your idol or someone that you look up to, it can be a huge letdown, and just finding out he has a 10-minute, his closing bit was about his father shitting himself, and yet in the green room he's talking about, well, I think we should have these intelligent policies around immigration, and the guitar player from Metallica is like, I agree with you, and I'm like, these are just two rich white guys that are, playing idiots for people that, it was such a weird experience hanging out in that green room on the weekend, because here I thought like, oh, I'm going to ask questions about Saturday Night Live, and oh my God, it's the guitar player from Metallica. Like, what was it like coming up with some of those riffs? And no, they were just in their little bubble and wanted to have their, right-wing conspiracy conversations, and I'm the asshole doing bits about teachers should be paid more.
But did he respect you? Did he,
I mean, I don't know that he. I think as a comic, I'd like to think that he thought like, okay, yeah, you're doing the job well, but he's like of that level where I had to earn the crowd. I mean, they're coming to see this big name, and it's that situation where they can't wait to see him, and I'm just another interruption between them and Goat Boy. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? Teachers and money. Like, bring on the Goat Boy, and I want to hear that 10-minute bit about shitting your pants.
And that was just to give you credit, Joe. That was you were appropriately booked for that gig and probably underpaid, because
absolutely.
that's when you need to be a fucking pro. And
yeah. But I mean, it also
deal with the crowd.
It makes you a better comic, I think, in the because it's like, all right, I know what I've got, I know who I am, and I know what I know what I can do. But it was just, that was a letdown, just in like, holy crap, this guy is some conservative right-wing radio DJ now. And it was such a weird dynamic. I mean, Natasha, you must have had some situations like, I mean, Louis is a good situation like that, Dan, you must have had some situations too, where you're in the green room with some comic and they're not at all what they are on stage. You know, they're literally just playing a
I'm
character.
trying to think of being disappointed. Like really kind of, you know what? I worked with Richard Lewis in Fort Lauderdale. And I mean, I love that guy. Rest in peace. Love him. He's just the essence of, it's a Jew thing, but I love him, right? And I had visions of, we're going to go to I'm going to find a deli in town, and it's going to be like Larry and him and Kurt. We're going to be noshing and schwitzing and kvetching, and he just, and then the first day there, they were like, don't talk to him. He doesn't, he goes back and forth between sets. Just stay away from him. That being said, I should have, if I'd had leaned into it, he might have been cool. So that's actually, that was more Misha Goss than,
there are so many stories. I mean, I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but I remember when the Punchline booked him and it was a 2-person show. And I remember
he
ate it. And he would go back again, like he wasn't staying in the green room between shows. He was literally being driven back to the hotel, right? And then one time he's like, I'm just gonna stay here. And he had to go to the bathroom, but they were cleaning the bathroom. So he goes outside, and you know where the stairs are, and then to the right of the stairs there used to be plants. He's peeing in the plants. There used to be plants there, but he's peeing in the plants, but there's an entire line of people waiting to see him for the second show, and people are like, hey, is that Richard Lewis taking a leak and he's not even acknowledging them. He's not even like looking up. Wow. And like I can't remember who had to go out like, hey, Richard, we'll stop cleaning the bathroom for you if if you need to go.
Louis C.K. just kind of built on what Richard Lewis did.
Yeah.
That's a good way of looking at it. That's a positive spin. Wow. Dan, do you want to ask this is the big final question, Natasha. This is
okay.
This is
can I finish?
Oh yeah, okay. Please. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say the one other thing about that weekend with Louis Anderson was that he disliked the feature so much that he didn't want to interact with him. So whenever he wanted to he had opinions about his set, so he would tell me to go tell the feature. Then the feature was like, why doesn't he want to talk to me? Does he not like me? And I was like, I don't know, man.
Oh man. Oh, that's awful.
It was so weird. The vibes were so strange the whole weekend.
What was he trying to give the feature advice, and he was filtering that advice through you?
Not advice, more just the same way he told me not to do this and that joke. It was because he didn't like the way.
On that. It's sad.
Oh no! It was because he also didn't want us to swear. He didn't want us to swear. He was worried about us swearing, and I think so. The feature had taken that note and edited it, but still was swearing too much. And so I had to let him know that the boss didn't want him swearing too much. It was so weird because we were up in the green room and I had to run up and down to be a little message girl.
Tell him don't swear so much. Hey, you want a lick?
It's sad. That is really sad.
It was.
That's a good story, though. I love that. I
remember, not to name drop. I remember, the guy, Joe, here's a trivia question. Who could clear out a green room quicker than...
I mean, there's so many names. Than
poison, insect repel. He would show up for a guest set and everyone would...
There's so many.
He'd show up with a date randomly. Girl he wanted to impress and do a guest set, and he would do his Al Pacino impression and screw the show up and want to chat, and the green room would.
I'm blanking. Who?
Just guess somebody you don't like.
Local guy.
Local guy, Al Pacino.
Al Pacino impression. I'm not even going to say it. I feel bad. I want you to say it. I don't want to say it.
You can't blue ball us. Come on.
I'm blue balling you.
Is he still alive? Is he still around?
Of course he is.
Local comic.
Guys like that don't die.
He's still around?
He's alive. He's kicking, and he's doing it tonight.
Okay, you're gonna have to tell me when we are off the air, but
yeah, I'm not gonna say
like
it. I don't.
This is the good stuff.
I try to set you up too. Anyway.
We'll ask our positive question then.
Natasha,
okay.
You're a very courageous comedian. You've built your way. You started in the early 2000s. You've built your way up to featuring at the A clubs in San Francisco, which is very, very challenging. You've hosted. You've worked with big names. You have disclosed personal stuff that takes a lot of courage, and you have built this very creative and bold niche for yourself. The plain question is, do you feel successful?
No.
No hesitation. Just laughing a no?
Listen to this. Listen to this. Listen to the timing of this. Come in.
Natasha, you really don't feel successful? Like,
I mean, I feel like I've gotten better at stand-up, but not like in a way that's like financial or like sustainable, or like where I feel like I know what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. Like I still feel like I'm trying to work out how to like see like where I want to go from here, or what I hope to like achieve, and that still feels like kind of a blank area. I think for too long I was just grinding and just.
I so respect your response, because it was just a immediate no, which means that's typically what funny people say. Have you noticed that? The funniest people, no.
Or yeah.
Or just really bad comics.
No, they're fucking thrilled with themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that we've had.
I mean, I feel like I have to work on my Al Pacino impression. It turns out.
That guy.
This is gonna sound wrong. I can't wait to hit.
He would love to tell you how successful
Al
he is.
Pacino, local guy.
Oh, come on.
Totally...
Yes.
You're lucky I don't take a flamethrower to this place. I can't do impressions. But
that was not even close.
Well, that's why I'm not at that
You're
level.
Lucky
you know.
First, you get the funny.
Yeah, he did the old school. What are you kidding me? That one. Tony Montana.
All right. Well, we got to wrap this up, but Natasha, a true pleasure. As always,
it was really fun.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for putting up with
Like
us.
and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Maybe Dan will send you a message and give you the name of the comic that he hates and tried to make me say.
Yeah, I'll let.
Mean trick. Guess all of the shitty comedians that.
Well, let's wrap
terrible.
Up. And then
There's going to be a list. All right. Like and subscribe, everyone. Thank you very much for being a follower, and keep sending us comments, even though some of them are insane. We love to read them. Peace out.